Lea, so happy to see you.
So happy to see you too.
How is Broadway treating you?
Broadway is great. I'm having just the greatest time over at Chess for so many reasons. It's the show, it's the music, it's the cast, it's the theater, it's like my family. Just honestly, this has been one of, if not the greatest sort of creative experiences I've ever had, filled with a lot of joy, and I'm having the best time.
So we're gonna do something fun today. We're gonna walk through your resume. You ready to do that?
I'm so ready.
Do you do this all the time on your own? Do you go like, that theater I did this,
Honestly,
that's the theater
no,
where
but it is really like sweet when you drive by these theaters that were your homes, and you kind of reminisce. So I'm really excited to talk about these spaces that really mean so much to me.
Well, this is a big one.
This is a big one.
This is a big one because 3 years ago there was an event happening here, and it was called Lea Michele. It was you, funny girl, Fanny Brice. First of all, that was so meta because you had gone off to Hollywood, created Rachel Berry, became very famous in that period of time away from Broadway. And then Rachel Berry went to Broadway to star in Funny Girl. And then we all wanted to see you play Fanny Brice in Funny Girl, and then you did?
And then it happened.
Like, I feel like years from now we're gonna look back and go, wait, that all really happened?
I know, I feel like there will be definitely a TV movie in there somewhere. But yeah, it was so wild, and Funny Girl had kind of come in and out of my life over the years. It started in 2013 when Ryan Murphy had the rights, and we were doing it simultaneously on the television show, and I felt like I had really played the part so much. But it's funny how these things work and how things come out of your life and you have to sort of let go, and they're brought back when they're supposed to. And I really think that Funny Girl was meant to come back into my life once I was a mother and a wife, because that is so much of what her story is. I think we think about Funny Girl and we think about Fanny on the stage and performing and her being so driven, which is true, and it is true for who I am as a person as well. But what Fanny wanted just as much was love, and to be a wife, and to be in love, and to have a real life outside of what she does professionally. And I think the universe was waiting for me to have that sort of experience so that then I could truly come and play this part with that life experience behind me. And it was perfect. It happened exactly how it was supposed to. And my dressing room was right there. It was that window is the second floor right in the center. And it would overlook, my face was right there on the billboard.
Now let me ask you something. When you took on this role, there were a lot of expectations because of the history you had already created with the role without ever having actually done it. Was there any way it wasn't gonna work? Were you worried at all that like maybe you were gonna walk in here and like somehow it just wouldn't?
Well, I knew that everyone was gonna have their opinions, but the minute I started in rehearsals, I realized that like I'd really never played the part. I'd done bits and pieces here or there, but when it came to actually saying the dialogue and learning her accent and learning these like the dance moves and everything, I was really starting from zero much more than I thought that I was. A lot of the phrasing in the songs was very Glee specific, and I worked with our musical director very intensely on making this version and not anything I'd done before. So I really was like sort of wiping the slate clean and starting from scratch. But despite that, from the minute I started, I was like, this is so in my soul. This character, this music, even before Glee, it's just, she's always felt like such a part of me. And I knew that I was proud of it, and I knew it felt right to me, and for me it felt like I was hitting the mark. But I was reassured on opening night, although that's pretty much all a blur to me. I do remember when Jared said, "You're already getting applause or something, and it's not even like, you know, the show hasn't even ended." It was like very meta, whatever he was saying, and the audience was like, "Yeah!" and in that one moment, I like woke up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm Fanny Brice on Broadway right now, and I think they like it.
And you were back after all those years away. I'm so happy to have you back.
I know, I mean, 15 years I think it was not working on Broadway, and then I came back to play Fanny Brice.
Okay, we have a lot of theaters to get to, so we're gonna head that way.
Let's go.
Let's go. Lea, look, it's the Eugene O'Neill.
No.
This is a really super special.
Hey, I slept in this theater 2 times.
Really?
Did you not watch the Spring Awakening
Oh no,
documentary?
of course I did. Of course, I'm
We
sorry.
snuck in overnight and we slept in this
Right,
theater like
right,
crazy people.
Right, you kids, the crazy kids of Spring Awakening. I mean, that was a incredible group of people.
Yeah, it was
I think you
unbelievable.
knew it was special at the time. I was around a little bit for that. I was at your opening and stuff, and I
Yeah.
feel like you all knew that there was like magic happening.
It really wasn't, and we knew magic was happening, that's
Yeah.
for sure. I've always, I mean, I started working on the original workshops and everything of Spring Awakening from when I was 14.
I know.
And then by the time I got to Broadway, I think I was 20.
Yep.
So I knew for all of those years that Spring Awakening was such an amazing, special show.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't until our Tony season, and when we woke up and we had all of those nominations,
Yeah.
that's when we were like, oh my gosh, this is bigger than we even ever thought
Well,
it was.
also, it's cool to be in the cool show.
Yeah, it was
like you were in
cool.
Rent. It's like being the original cast of Rent, right?
Yeah.
There are very few casts where it's like this iconic group of
Yeah.
a generation. Like,
You know, look, we were dealing with some really intense subject matter,
Yep.
so we definitely had moments where we were able to really sort of like live in those moments of feeling like rock stars.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was also, you know, battling kind of with the subject matter of what we were doing every night, and how we kind of released that was by spending time with each other.
Right.
And like leaving the theater and then like going to Jonathan's house like right away or right after, or my apartment, and like letting off our steam and kind of like putting the show to bed
Sure.
by spending our time with
Sure.
each other, because it was intense, but at the same time just so fun and special, and this changed everything for me.
It did.
You know, it was such a
It
big
did.
moment. This is where Ryan Murphy came to see me, and then he wrote Rachel Berry for me. So a lot happened inside of this theater. I met my best friend.
oh, I know.
Here.
Mr. Jonathan Groff, yes.
He's right over there, by the
There's
way.
a poster of him
Poster
over there.
of him right there. He follows me everywhere I go, this guy.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, and here's the church right across
Oh, right.
the street. The famous church that Jonathan and I had a break during the show, and we would come out in our costumes, and
Run across
every
us.
day we would like come out a little further, and then a little further, and then a little further. And then it was the night before the Tony nominations, and we went across the street to the church and made a little donation. And then ran back on stage.
Okay, this is the Lyric Theater. Harry
Yes.
Potter's here, of course. Many people might call this like maybe their favorite of your credits, just because like, you know, there's different kinds of musical theater fans, right? Ragtime, the original Ragtime, you were the little girl.
Yeah.
She has no name, but she's actually like a really important character. I'm sure at that time you were 11.
Yeah, I did it in Canada with the
Okay.
original cast for a full year.
Okay, wow.
And which was interesting because I'd never, you know, I'd worked in one show prior on Broadway.
Yeah.
And then we got, you know, I got this offer to do this show, but it meant moving to Canada for a full year.
Wow.
So we lived in Canada with the original cast, building this show, creating it, getting to hear some of the most iconic, memorable, greatest songs in Broadway, you
Yeah.
know, history.
Yeah.
Hearing them for the first time, hearing songs get cut and new songs get added in, and hearing Audra sing "You're Your Daddy's Son" for the first time, and Marin singing Back to Before. We had our little like bubble in Canada, and then we brought it to New York, and we brought it to this theater. So when we got here, we'd already been doing it for a full year. I remember feeling like, okay, now we have to present it to New York and to Broadway, and it was a really big deal.
But you knew as a kid how beautiful it was and how special it was.
Absolutely. You know, it was a really competitive year. It was the year of The
Yes.
Lion King. I believed in our show so much, and I knew it was so important, and but we were really up against this sort of
Yeah.
like beast that was, you know, The Lion King.
Yeah. When you are one of the kids in the show, and you have all these incredible adult stars who have all gone on to have these incredible Broadway careers. They're iconic performers
Yeah.
you were with. Did you feel like you could sort of engage with them, or was it sort of like the adults and you were just like the kid?
No, I mean, I felt very included by the adults. I mean, I remember Peter Friedman invited me to go to SNL one night, and we went at like 11 o'clock after the show, and the Divas concert that was happening at Carnegie Hall that year that Audra was
Oh, wow.
performing in, and Marin was in as well, and I wanted to go so bad, and Audra everyone knew. And she called me on the phone and got me an extra ticket, and I went to go see them. So I definitely remember feeling so supported. Obviously, you know, I wasn't in their world, and
Sure.
I was 10 or 11, but I remember feeling very included and a part of that entire cast.
Hey, the Minskoff.
The
Lion
Minskoff.
King. We were just talking about the Lion King.
That's right. Oh my God.
It was playing the same time as Ragtime.
That's right.
You did
Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof here. And who'd you play?
I played Shrinza.
I was thinking about, you went into this, I think, when you were like 17. And so there's a nice gap from doing the little girl
Yes.
to that. And you were fantastic in it. I remember seeing you and being like, that's the little girl. That's the But like, what was that time in between where you were just going to school and like being a kid in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
But you were still auditioning and still...
I was not really. I was doing Spring Awakening, actually.
You were still doing the
was doing-
endless readings of Spring
I was
Awakening.
doing endless
Wow.
readings of Spring Awakening. That's what happened before Fiddler.
Right.
And I remember I was applying to colleges, and I got into NYU. I was accepted into NYU while I was working on Fiddler. So then it was like this big dilemma, like, do I go to college? Do I continue working?
Right.
And I inevitably ended up going and doing Spring Awakening.
And like
Great.
that's kind of the part, the time when your whole career started like sort of coming together.
Yes, the Fiddler was sort of in like this interesting in-between
Yeah.
time between playing literally the little girl to then playing Venla. So a little bit of like an awkward age,
Yeah.
but a really meaningful and beautiful show that I'm just very proud to have been a part of. I have to keep making my Nobody's Side videos.
Never lose your heart, use your head. Nobody's on nobody's side.
Well, Leah, if they ever name a theater after you, this might be a good one. The Imperial, because this is where it all started.
Yeah.
And this is where you're currently killing it in just, you're so good in this show.
Thank you so
But first,
much.
let's rewind. Let's rewind
Yeah.
to 8-year-old Leah,
Yes,
is that right?
1995.
Okay, so you're in Les Mis.
Yeah.
And you're playing young Eponine.
Yes.
But then you're covering young Cosette or Gavroche,
No.
or is it all? No.
You play young Eponine, young Cosette, and then you cover. So like every night it's a different thing. And then so one night you're young Cosette, one night you're young Eponine, and then one night you're covering both girls.
Okay.
And then I was also the only young girl who understudied Gavroche.
Why'd they pick you to understudy Gavroche? You just
I
got lucky.
auditioned. Midway through my run, they needed someone else to cover the boys' track, and they had all the girls try out, and I did, and I got it.
But Eponine, I mean, this is maybe where the Eponine fantasy started.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I would, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Les Mis so much. This theater, but that show, it just like opened up my heart and my mind to, you know, the thing that has brought me so much joy in my life, which is this community and Broadway and performing.
Yeah.
I remember every single thing about Les Mis when I was 8 years old. Like, I remember everything. I remember what I would eat before the show. I remember my dressing
eat?
room. I would go across the street to the Edison. There was first of all, there's Dina and DeLuca. And then right next was like it's a pizza place now, but it was like a little, you know, place connected to the Edison. And I would get chicken soup, a pickle, and a croissant.
The
It
best.
was so good.
That's the meal of a
So
Broadway
good.
star.
Yes.
We love it.
Totally.
But I guess young Cosette, you get to sing Castle on a Cloud. That's such a
Yeah.
special moment.
Oh
Center
my God.
stage.
I know, and even now in chess, when I walk down center stage at the end of the show and I look at that 0, I just think that that's where I stood when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievable. And this, like, I can't tell you how much this theater means to me,
Yeah.
to my family. You know, members of my family that are no longer with us were able to come into this theater when I was 8 years old and see me perform. And I think about them all the time now, you know, when I'm performing, and now even my children. I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, and the other day my mom brought them to the theater, and she was like, I can't believe I'm bringing my grandchildren into the place that I brought you when you were 8.
Wow.
It's so special.
Are you someone who's always sort of sentimental like that, or as you get older, or do you feel like you're getting more sentimental about all of this?
as you get older and as you just try to have a little bit more faith and trust in the path ahead, and just to know that what is meant for you will come for you, and to trust that there is something there waiting for you. And I never expected Les Mis to happen for me. That was never a part of my plan. I had never sung before, I'd never performed before, and it was brought into my life and it changed my life. And I never was expecting chess to come into my life. I thought after Funny Girl, it would be really challenging for me to find something that I felt as equally inspired by.
Yeah.
And then chess came along, and I'm having the greatest time of my life.
So how does it feel to take this little walk with
my
me
God.
through the theater district and your life and your career?
I feel so grateful. And all I want to do is do another show and do another show and do another show. I feel so grateful to have been a part of this amazing community for so many years. And when I came back to New York in 2020, and I was sort of uncertain as to what would come next, and I was about to do the Spring Awakening reunion, and I chatted with you outside of the Eugene O'Neill, and then Funny Girl came along, and I was so happy to be home and happy to be back on the stage. And now this is just where I want to be, and I just want to keep working and performing here on Broadway.